नमस्कार। श्री Ramakrishna Kathamrita. तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदादतं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। श्री रामकृष्ण कथामृतो प्रथम भाग प्रथम खंडो नवम परिच्छेद चतुर्थ दर्शन. In the 9th chapter of this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the Bengali version, Sri M has come to visit Sri Ramakrishna for the 4th time. With every visit, we have seen from the first visit, second visit, third visit, there has been some kind of transformation in M. With every visit, there is some kind of new learning for M. In the first visit, Sri Ramakrishna rebuked him, scolded him, even kind of sarcastically asked him, "Are tumi gani?" When Sri M replied to Sri Ramakrishna's question that how is your wife, and he says, no, is she vidya or avidya? Does she have knowledge or is she ignorant? And Sri M, very with his egoistic tendency, because M was highly educated, saying she is good but ignorant. And Sri Ramakrishna had blasted him. Then in the second visit, there was a change. A milder M, a devoted M with the devotional spark in his mind, having come to Sri Ramakrishna most respectfully, asking him a few questions about the spiritual path. Then, in the third visit when he came, he had that remarkable vision, that most beautiful vision anyone can ever have. Sri Ramakrishna in Samadhi, standing on the northern veranda of his room, Narain, Sri Ramakrishna's most beloved disciple and child, singing that beautiful song, Chintoyo Momo Manasha Hori Chit Gono Niranjana. Narain, Swami Vivekananda, singing that song. And Sri M, he admitted that such sweet song he had only heard Sri Ramakrishna singing. Narain's was also equally sweet, and he had got so much attracted to that song, Narain singing and seeing Sri Ramakrishna in that mood of samadhi, absolutely standstill, motionless, no blinking of his eyelids. He was not even able to make out whether Sri Ramakrishna was breathing or not. The hair standing on his head and tears flowing from his eyes. I mean, what vision that M had. The direct vision of Sri Ramakrishna's Samadhi. He couldn't make out, and he had to ask, what is this? Why he's like this? Then another devotee told him, this is Sri Ramakrishna's Samadhi. And he got to know, okay, there is something called Samadhi, that a person, he becomes totally oblivious to his external circumstances. And with that image, with Narain having completed his song and taking that imprint of the image of Sri Ramakrishna in Samadhi in his heart, Sri M had left, and next day again he came when Thakur actually made fun of him. See, the peacock has come to get the opium right at the same time. But Sri M, he said, truly, I mean, what he's saying is very true. I cannot stay at home without his thought. Day and night, I'm thinking about him, I'm thinking about his teachings, I'm thinking about his samadhi. And that's how Sri M, with most longing, again landed up the next day, and he had what he saw. The same Ramakrishna which had taught him great lessons on the path of spirituality, behaving like a young boy, like a young child with all those 18, 19, 20-year-old youngsters, those young boys in their teens, late teens, and Thakur also becoming like them and doing all the fun, all the merriment. And M is wondering, is it the same person who I have been meeting all these days? My first visit, second visit, third visit, he was so serious. He was talking of spirituality, nothing else. And he also kind of molded me, molded my personality into becoming a devotee. Is he the same person who is just enjoying with these youngsters? All fun and gaiety and merriment. And Thakur also pointing out, see, we are all making fun, and this fellow, he is a bit older, so he is sitting there serious, calm, quiet, no hangama, no masti, just sitting, Thakur told Ramlal. And that's what the talk went on, and then Thakur sang about that song. So he told the story of Hanuman, that how he took that Brahmastra from that crystal pillar, Sphatikastambho, and when he was running, Mandodari tried to allure him with fruits. What song Hanuman sang? That song Thakur also sang. পেয়েছি যে ফল জনম সফল মক্ষ ফলের মুখ্য রাম হৃদয়ে. What you are tempting me with these useless fruits? I have got a wish fulfilling tree of Sri Ram fixed in my heart. The moment I wish any fruit, Sri Ram is there to give me even the fruit of liberation, and you are like a fool. You are trying to bribe me with this? I will give you a return fruit. I will. You are expecting that return fruit of Brahmastra. But I am telling you this as my return fruit to you. I have got a wish fulfilling tree implanted in my heart, and I can get anything that I want from that tree, from my Sri Ram. And singing this song, Thakur again went into Samadhi. Samadhi Mandire. ঠাকুর এই গান গাইতেছেন, আবার সেই সমাধি, আবার নিষ্পন্দ দেহ, স্তিমিত লোচন, দেহ স্থির, বসিয়া আছেন, ফটোগ্রাফে যে রূপ ছবি দেখা যায়, ভক্তেরা এই মাত্র এত হাসি খুশি করিতেছিলেন, এখন সকলেই এক দৃষ্টি হইয়া ঠাকুরের সেই অদ্ভুত অবস্থা নিরীক্ষণ করিতেছেন। সমাধি অবস্থা মাস্টার এই দ্বিতীয়বার দর্শন করিলেন। অনেকক্ষণ পরে এই অবস্থার পরিবর্তন হইতেছে। দেহ শিথিল হইল, মুখ সুহাস্য হইল, ইন্দ্রিয়গণ আবার নিজের নিজের কার্য করিতেছে। চক্ষের কোণ দিয়া আনন্দাশ্রু বিসর্জন করিতে করিতে ঠাকুর রাম রাম এই নাম উচ্চারণ করিতেছেন। মাস্টার ভাবিতে লাগিলেন, এই মহাপুরুষ কি ছেলেদের সঙ্গে ফচকিমি করিতেছিলেন? তখন ঠিক যেন 5 বছরের বালক। ঠাকুর পূর্ববৎ প্রকৃতিস্থ হইয়া আবার প্রাকৃত লোকের ন্যায় ব্যবহার করিতেছেন। মাস্টারকে ও নরেন্দ্রকে সম্বোধন করিয়া বললেন, তোমরা দুজনে ইংরাজিতে কথা কও ও বিচার করো, আমি শুনব। মাস্টার ও নরেন্দ্র উভয়ে এই কথা শুনিয়া হাসিতেছেন। দুজনে কিছু কিছু আলাপ করিতে লাগিলেন, কিন্তু বাংলাতে। ঠাকুরের সামনে মাস্টারের বিচার আর সম্ভব নয়। তাহার তর্কের ঘর ঠাকুরের কৃপায় এক রকম বন্ধ। আর কি রূপে তর্ক বিচার করিবেন? ঠাকুর আর একবার জিদ করিলেন, কিন্তু ইংরাজিতে তর্ক করা হইল না। So, while singing this song of Lord Hanuman, Thakur again went into Samadhi. And what a scene! What a sight to behold in the heart! What a sight to look at! আবার সেই সমাধি, again the same Samadhi. আবার নিষ্পন্দ দেহ, স্তিমিত লোচন, দেহ স্থির. Again the breathless body. No breathing. Stimit lochan. The eyes are fixed. No blinking of the eyelids. No movement of the pupils of the eye. Just fixed gaze. Fixed on what? Fixed on Sri Ram. The image which suddenly Thakur started meditating upon while singing this song and had the ecstatic mood of getting into Samadhi. So, stimit lochan, the fixed gaze, eyes, no movement, and deho sthir, again the motionless body, no movement at all. বসিয়া আছেন, ফটোগ্রাফে যে রূপ ছবি দেখা যায়, exactly the way we see the picture of Sri Thakur in that photograph, sitting still on that chota taktaposh, with all the youngsters sitting in front of him, and Thakur is in Ram Rajya. Thakur is in the mood of Sri Ram. ভক্তেরা এই মাত্র এত হাসি খুশি করিতেছিলেন, এখন সকলেই এক দৃষ্টি হইয়া ঠাকুরের সেই অদ্ভুত অবস্থা নিরীক্ষণ করিতেছেন. Now just a moment back, all these people, these youngsters, these kids and Thakur, they were having such great fun and frolic. Now everybody is just watching at Sri Thakur's form in Samadhi. They are all mesmerized. They are all totally attracted to Sri Thakur's form in Samadhi and observing him, that when will Thakur come back to the normal plane, from that very high plane, a transcendental plane. They are just observing, when will he come back to us? Right now he is there. When will he come back to us and start talking to us, start making fun with us? Samadhi অবস্থা মাস্টার এই দ্বিতীয়বার দর্শন করিলেন. This was the second sight of Sri Thakur in Samadhi for Sri Ram. The first was there standing in the northern veranda of his room, Narayan singing at the end of the in the third visit of Riyam, and this was the second. Now this time he didn't have to ask anybody, what is this? Why is motion? M knew this is samadhi. M had started understanding the ways of Sri Ramakrishna, how suddenly he will get into that mode of samadhi, how suddenly he will lose his presence in this world and here, and he will get transported into the divine realm, and then slowly he will come back. Then what happened? অনেক ক্ষণ পরে এই অবস্থার পরিবর্তন হইতেছে, and then after some time the change starts setting in from this condition of samadhi of Sri Ramakrishna. Deho shithil hoil. The body became kind of loose, relaxed. Mukh sohasya hoil. As Thakur came down from that samadhi, there was a beautiful smile playing on his face. He must have seen, he must have experienced something so brilliant. He must have experienced something so deep and great that recollecting that, Thakur had a beautiful smile on his lips as he came down from samadhi. ইন্দ্রিয়গণ আবার নিজের নিজের কার্য করিতেছে. Now, slowly, one by one, all his senses started behaving normally. The eyes started blinking, pupils started moving as he was shifting his gaze from one person to another, and his breathing became normal. One could make out Thakur is inhaling, Thakur is exhaling. ইন্দ্রিয়গণ আবার নিজের নিজের কার্য করিতেছে, চক্ষের কোণ দিয়া আনন্দাশ্রু বিসর্জন করিতে করিতে ঠাকুর রাম রাম এই নাম উচ্চারণ করিতেছেন, shedding tears from the corners of his eyes. Thakur repeating Ram, Ram, Ram. So, Thakur must have had the vision of Ram while singing that song of Hanuman, that the wish-fulfilling tree of Sri Ram has been implanted in my heart. Whatever I ask for him, I will get it from him. Hanuman was singing, but Thakur went into that mood of Hanuman, had the vision of Ram, and as he came down from samadhi, came down to the normal plane, all he had on his lips was that beautiful smile and the words Ram, Ram. Master bhabite lagilen, and Master Sri M, he started wondering, এই মহাপুরুষ কি ছেলেদের সঙ্গে ফজকেমি করতেছিলেন? And Sri M started wondering, saying to himself, this great soul, this great saint, Mahapurush, who was having such great fun, frolicking merriment with these young boys, is he the same person? Then, when he was playing with the kids, when he was making fun with these youngsters, he was behaving as if he is a 5-year-old child. So Sri M is in all wonderment, all amazement. What is it the same person? And as this same person who was fun-loving, who was making all the merriment with these youngsters, became his normal self again after that moment of samadhi. Now he is again back to playing tricks with his beloved children. So what happens then? ঠাকুর পূর্ববৎ হইয়া আবার প্রাকৃত লোকের ন্যায় ব্যবহার করিতেছেন। Now he is behaving like a normal man, like before he entered into samadhi. Again in a playful mood, joyous mood. মাস্টারকে ও নরেন্দ্রকে সম্বোধন করিয়া বললেন, referring to addressing Naren and Sri M, he said, তোমরা দুজনে ইংরাজিতে কথা কো ও বিচার করো, আমি শুনবো। And Sri Ramakrishna started making more fun. Addressing Naren and M, he said, now you two start arguing. You start a discussion in Ingraji. Thakur wanted to listen their discussion in English. Ami shunbo, I want to listen. You talk, I will listen. Master o Norendra উভয়ে এই কথা শুনিয়া হাসিতেছেন। The moment Master and Norendra heard these words of Sri Ramakrishna, they started laughing. Because that was not to happen. দুজনে কিছু কিছু আলাপ করিতে লাগিলেন, কিন্তু বাংলাতে। And both of them, they started talking a little bit, how are you and all that, but in Bengali, not in English. And that too not an argument, not a discussion. It was a mere casual talk in Bengali. ঠাকুরের সামনে মাস্টারের বিচার আর সম্ভব নয়। Thakur had nicely scolded M, nicely reprimanded M when all his tendency of arguing had got over. In the second chapter, remember? When Thakur had crushed Sri M's ego. So, for M, it is no more possible. His tendency to argue was totally erased by Sri Ramakrishna. From the egotistic M, he had become a devotee M. During first few meetings, when M had come, he used to offer pranam like this, standing with joining the palms and like a typical, educated person, namaskar, like we do. But now onwards, he had learned how to prostrate before his guru with all devotion and humility. Laying flat on the floor, prostrating full length in front of his Ishta, his guru's feet. So that was the change. Argument part was all over for M. Sri Ramakrishna had ended that chapter of argumentative M. Okay. ঠাকুরের সামনে মাস্টারের বিচার আর সম্ভব নয়. It is not possible. তাহার তর্কের ঘোর ঠাকুরের কৃপায় এক রকম বন্ধ. His room, his house of reasoning and arguing is once for all locked by Thakur, locked by Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna has taken that key. No more arguments, no more reasoning, only devotion to the lotus feet of the Lord. আর কি রূপে তর্ক বিচার করিবেন? Now when such is the condition of M, how could he argue? How could he get into a discussion with Naren? Although Thakur had asked him to do like that. But his power of argument, his power of discussing anything was totally eradicated by Sri Ramakrishna. Now he could only think of the Lord. He could only think of that beautiful vision of Sri Ramakrishna in Samadhi. He could only think of his words, his teachings, That was the only thing Sri M could do now. No more arguments, no more discussion. ঠাকুর আর একবার জিদ করিলেন. Once more Thakur kind of pressed them again. Discuss, talk, argue. Why not? In Ingraji. But English does not, but the talk in English, the discussion in English, the argument between Noreen and M in English is not possible at all. So, Sri M ends this Nabam Puriched here. And this fourth visit is still going to continue in the next chapter, in the 10th chapter, and that is also going to be another wonderful reading. And Sri M is going to learn a lot of new things again with every visit. Sri M keeps on learning newer and newer things on this path of devotion, on this path of losing oneself in the Ishta Devata, losing oneself in the words of the Guru, and just following what the Guru has said. So with that we end today's reading here. Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaaya. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma, Jai Swamiji.